Seth Freaking Rollins has been exposed as the mystery attacker, and I am absolutely disgusted right now. Adam Pearce just stood in that Saturday night's main event ring and presented irrefutable evidence that the so-called visionary, the man who preaches about being a fighting champion and doing things the right way, is nothing but a lying, cheating, backstabbing coward who orchestrated the entire Royal Rumble conspiracy against Braun Breaker. This is the biggest scandal in modern WWE history. And if you're not absolutely furious at Seth Freaking Rollins right now for being the two-faced hypocrite we always suspected he was, then you haven't been paying attention. Rollins' carefully crafted image of being WWE's locker room leader and moral compass just shattered into a million pieces at SNME, and I'm about to break down every disgusting detail of how this fraud got caught. The revelation came during what Adam Pearce called an emergency announcement at Saturday night's main event that interrupted the entire show. Pearce walked out looking like a man who had just uncovered the crime of the century. His face was red with anger, his jaw was clenched, and you could see the veins in his neck bulging as he clutched evidence folders in his hands. The Raw general manager didn't waste time with pleasantries or build-up. He got straight to the point and said 5 words that made the entire arena erupt. "Seth Rollins, you are exposed." Pearce then proceeded to systematically destroy Seth Rollins' entire defense at Saturday night's main event with evidence that was so damning, so comprehensive, so absolutely crushing that there's no way Rollins can talk his way out of this. First piece of evidence. Pearce revealed that WE's cybersecurity team traced the rental car that brought the mystery attacker to the Royal Rumble venue, and the payment came from an LLC registered under the name Redesign LLC, a company that Seth Rollins created years ago and still controls. The financial paper trail at SNME led directly to Rollins' bank accounts. But wait, it gets worse for Seth Freaking Rollins. Adam Pearce revealed at Saturday night's My Event that when they examined phone records, they found dozens of calls between Rollins' personal cell phone and a burner phone in the days leading up to the Royal Rumble. These calls at SNME happened at suspicious times, late at night, early in the morning, clearly when Rollins thought nobody would notice. The call logs showed the last communication happening just 2 hours before the Royal Rumble started, which Pearce said was likely Rollins giving final instructions to his hired attacker. The third piece of evidence Adam Pearce presented at SNME was absolutely damning. Security footage from a parking garage 3 blocks away from the Royal Rumble venue showed Seth Rollins meeting with someone in a hooded jacket, someone whose build and height exactly matched the mystery attacker. The footage at Saturday night's main event showed Rollins handing this person what appeared to be an envelope, and then the two had a conversation lasting approximately 7 minutes before separating. Pearce said the timestamp on this footage was less than 4 hours before the Royal Rumble began. And then Adam Pearce dropped the nuclear option at Saturday night's main event. He brought out a witness. A member of WWE's production crew came to the ring at SNME and testified that he overheard Seth Rollins on the phone in a secluded area backstage saying, and I quote, "Just make sure you wait for the right moment. When it's down to me and Breaker, that's when you strike. Make it look random but take him out." The witness at Saturday night's main event was visibly nervous but stood by his testimony, saying he came forward because his conscience wouldn't let him stay silent about such blatant cheating. But the final piece of evidence that Adam Pearce revealed at SNME is what makes Seth Rollins look like the most despicable human being in WWE. Pearce obtained text message records that showed Rollins communicating with his financial advisor about transferring $150,000 to an offshore account just days after the Royal Rumble. The timing at Saturday night's main event was too convenient. Rollins wins the Rumble through cheating, then immediately moves money overseas to pay off his company conspirator. The evidence is so overwhelming that even Rollins' most loyal defenders can't dispute it. Adam Pearce then made the announcement that has the wrestling world in absolute meltdown. At Saturday night's main event, Pearce declared that due to the overwhelming evidence of conspiracy to commit fraud and assault, Seth Rollins is hereby stripped of his Royal Rumble victory. The 2026 Royal Rumble win is vacated and will be awarded to Braun Breaker, who would have won if not for Rollins' criminal interference. Furthermore, Seth Freaking Rollins is suspended from WWE for a minimum of 90 days without pay, and when he returns, he will be fined $500,000 for his actions at SNME. The crowd at Saturday night's main event absolutely erupted in celebration. Fans were chanting, "You got caught! You got caught!" And the energy in that arena was electric. People were hugging strangers, jumping up and down, celebrating the fact that justice was finally being served to the lying, cheating Seth Freaking Rollins. This is what happens when you're a fraud. Eventually, the truth catches up with you, and when it does, the fall is catastrophic. Now let's talk about the hypocrisy that makes Seth Rollins being exposed so satisfying. For years, Rollins has positioned himself as WWE's moral authority. He's given interviews talking about doing business the right way, and being a professional, and setting an example for the locker room. He's criticized other wrestlers for taking shortcuts, for being selfish, for putting themselves above the business. And the entire time, Seth Freaking Rollins was the biggest cheater of them all. The audacity is absolutely staggering. Remember all those times Seth Rollins lectured other wrestlers about honor and integrity. Remember when he called out CM Punk for being toxic to the locker room. Remember when he positioned himself as the face of WWE, the guy who shows up every day and does things the right way. All of that was lies. Rollins isn't the hero of WWE, he's the villain who was good enough at manipulation to make everyone believe his PR campaign. The man is a world-class con artist. The backstage fallout from this Saturday night's main event revelation has been explosive. Multiple WWE superstars have posted on social media expressing shock, anger, and betrayal at Seth Rollins' actions. People who considered Rollins a friend, who trusted him, who looked up to him as a locker room leader are now feeling deceived. The respect Rollins built over years has been destroyed in one night at SNME. His reputation is in ruins, and it's all his own fault. Becky Lynch, Rollins' own wife, posted a cryptic message on social media after the Saturday night's main event revelations that has everyone speculating. Becky wrote, "Sometimes the person you think you know best is the person hiding the most." Disappointed doesn't even begin to cover it. Is Becky saying that even she didn't know about Seth's conspiracy at SNME? Or is she just doing damage control? Either way, the fact that Rollins' own wife felt the need to distance herself publicly shows how toxic this scandal is. Roman Reigns, Rollins' former Shield brother, gave an interview after Saturday night's main event where he was asked about the revelations. Roman's response was brutal. "Seth always did whatever it took to get ahead. I'm not surprised. I'm just surprised he got caught." The lack of shock from people who know Rollins best tells you everything you need to know about his character. This is who Seth Freaking Rollins has always been: a manipulator, a schemer, someone who will do anything to stay on top. Let's talk about what this does to Seth Rollins' legacy at Saturday night's main event. Before this scandal, Rollins had a Hall of Fame resume, multiple world championships, Mr. Money in the Bank, multiple Royal Rumble appearances, WrestleMania main events, classic matches. But now, every single one of those accomplishments is tainted. Fans will forever wonder, which of Rollins' victories were legitimate and which involved cheating we never discovered. The asterisk next to his name is permanent and deserved. The identity of the actual mystery attacker is still unknown following the Saturday night's main event revelations, and Adam Pearce said the investigation is ongoing. But here's what we do know: whoever that person is, they're going to be in massive trouble when they're identified. Pearce said at SNME that anyone who helped Seth Rollins execute this conspiracy will face immediate termination from WWE and potential legal action. The co-conspirator is probably terrified right now knowing the walls are closing in. Here's what absolutely infuriates me about Seth Rollins: he showed no remorse when confronted with this evidence at Saturday night's main event. Rollins released a statement through his lawyer that basically said, "I deny everything, and I'll fight these baseless accusations in court." Baseless. Adam Pearce presented financial records, phone logs, security footage, eyewitness testimony, and text messages at SNME. If that's baseless, then what does proof look like? Rollins is so arrogant he thinks he can lie his way out of documented evidence. The satisfaction of watching Seth Freaking Rollins finally face consequences is immense for those of us who never bought his act. We've been saying for years that Rollins is a phony, a politician, someone who's more concerned with his image than his integrity. We were called haters and marks, and told we didn't understand the business. But Adam Pearce's investigation at Saturday night's main event vindicated everyone who saw through Rollins' carefully constructed facade. Braun Breaker appeared at Saturday night's main event after Pearce's announcements, and the fire in his eyes was intense. Breakker said that he knew Seth Rollins was behind the attack, that he knew Rollins was too much of a coward to face him straight up. Breakker thanked Pearce for his thorough investigation at SNME and then issued a warning to Rollins. "When your suspension ends, I don't want you at WrestleMania as a fan or an announcer. I want you in that ring across from me so I can do what I should have done at the Royal Rumble, and you." The storytelling from this Saturday night's main event revelation sets up the most personal feud WWE has seen in years. This isn't about championships or accolades, this is about revenge. This is about Bron Breakker getting justice for being robbed. This is about Seth Rollins paying the price for his deception. When these two finally face each other, it's going to be a war that transcends normal wrestling matches. Social media has been dominated by this Saturday night's main event scandal. #RollinsCaught is trending #1 worldwide. Wrestling journalists are writing think pieces about how this changes WWE's landscape. Fans are creating compilation videos of all the times Rollins preached about integrity while secretly being a cheater. The court of public opinion has convicted Seth Freaking Rollins, and the verdict is guilty on all counts. Here's my prediction for what happens when Seth Rollins returns from his 90-day suspension after Saturday night's main event. Rollins will come back as a full heel, embracing the villain role since he can't maintain the hero image anymore. He'll claim that everyone in WWE is a hypocrite, that they've all done questionable things to get ahead, and that he's just the only one honest enough to admit it. It'll be pathetic damage control, but it's the only play Rollins has left. The WrestleMania match between Braun Breaker and Seth Rollins writes itself after this Saturday night's main event revelation. Put them in a no disqualification match where Breaker can legally destroy Rollins. Let Breaker get his revenge for the Royal Rumble robbery. Give the fans the cathartic moment of watching the cheater get decimated by the man he wronged. It'll be one of the most satisfying WrestleMania moments in history. What makes this Saturday night's main event scandal so perfect is that Seth Rollins built his entire brand on being trustworthy, dependable, and honorable. He positioned himself as the opposite of the scheming, political wrestler. And it was all a lie. Rollins is exactly what he claimed to hate. The psychological projection is textbook. Accuse others of the very things you're guilty of to deflect suspicion. Rollins played everyone, but Pearce's investigation exposed the truth. I want your thoughts on Seth Freaking Rollins being exposed at Saturday night's main event. Drop your comments and tell Rollins he's a disgrace. Smash that like button if you're celebrating this fraud getting caught. Subscribe to WrestleSphere with notifications on because this story is exploding. Should Rollins be fired permanently? Does Breakker deserve to main event WrestleMania? What should Rollins' punishment be? Can he ever rebuild his reputation? Let me know everything because Pearce just exposed the biggest hypocrite in WWE at Saturday night's main event, and Seth Freaking Rollins' career will never recover from this.